This is the Sewing Circle podcast presented by Hanky Code. I'm Rebecca Vanderkoy, here to introduce to you up-and-coming queer artists and the powerful stories behind their work. So today I am excited to introduce you all to a very special guest, Noelle from Astrea Goods. Noelle is an immensely talented embroidery artist, and they embroidered our brand new Sewing Circle podcast logo, which is also debuting today. Noelle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. So, kind of to kick this off, how long have you been embroidering, and how did you first get into that?
So the first piece I ever made was back in 2016. It was actually for a school project when I was in high school. We were making individual like quilt squares to create like a large combined like story quilt, basically. So that was the first time that I did it, and I had so much fun with it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm a very fidgety person, and so I always have to have something to keep my hands busy. And once I left and I started going to college, I realized I needed something to do while I was trying to just, relax and not not just be like twirling my hair tie endlessly. So I decided to get some more supplies and I started making more embroidery projects. And I eventually opened up like an Etsy store and sold a few things like on there for a little while. But yeah, that's kind of how I got started, and then it evolved into what I do now. So
That's really cool. So, how would you say your creative style has evolved over time? Because you've been doing this for a while now, so I'm sure it's changed a bit at least.
yeah, it's crazy. I can't even like it's crazy to think that it's been like almost a decade now. Like I didn't even realize that. But yeah, it started out super like kind of normie and just basic. I did a lot of like flowers and like botanical stuff. I did a lot of like little cutesy like quotes like from like TV shows, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I also did a lot of like calligraphy lettering that I incorporated into my like hand embroidery. Um, but as I like got more politically aware and also just realized that it wasn't super fun trying to appeal to like everyone, like appealing to a general audience is not actually where you find success in these kinds of things. So as I got more political and like learned what my values were more, I started incorporating that more into my work. And that's when my business kind of started to take off a little bit. It wasn't instantaneous, but being true to myself and what I believe in definitely helped me find my target audience more. And
Yeah.
I was actually able to engage with customers in a more meaningful way because my work actually felt like it had meaning behind it. And it wasn't just, I don't know, like kind of like basic crafts. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I still love a lot of the pieces that I made back then, but I definitely feel more connected to what I've been making in the last, like 5, 6 years. So
No, that absolutely makes sense. And I also just feel like there is definitely something to be said for kind of not trying to appeal to everyone, because I think like it's not the most realistic thing anyway. And also, like you're
exactly.
saying, once you kind of find what you care about and what you want to do, then like you're going to attract like-minded people who are interested in that, which is what you want anyway, I would think.
Exactly. And it just made it so much more fun. Like it didn't feel like such like a I don't know. It just unlocked a lot of inspiration and creativity for me, and yeah, it was definitely game changing, and like I was actually able to make a lot more friends in the community that way because, once you put yourself out there, other people will find you and you can find your people. But yeah, my business is like it kind of shifted. So I started doing like hand embroidery basically exclusively. And then in like late 2020, I got my first embroidery machine, which allowed me to start making apparel and like beanies and that kind of thing. My beanies went bonkers in like 2021, and I had a super fun time with that. And then in 2022, I was able to purchase my Big Bertha machine. She's massive, which allowed me to start doing like baseball caps, that kind of thing. But yeah, for a few years I definitely focused more on like the machine embroidery apparel, like more like bulk making like stuff, if that makes sense, rather than like one-off, one-of-a-kind pieces. But my business this year has kind of like shifted more back towards where I started with making like one-off, like individualized like pieces that I can't really make bulk. I do use my embroidery machine to do a lot of the lettering for most of the pieces, like the charm embroidery pieces that I've been making.
Hmm.
Just because otherwise hand embroidery just takes a long time anyways, and so it
Yeah.
would take me like a million years. But yeah, it's been fun to kind of get back more into where I started and get back to my roots in this craft of doing things by hand, because that's how I got started and that's what made me love it so much. So
Yeah. No, that's really cool. Is there any particular project or series of work that you're like especially proud of?
I definitely say my charm embroidery hoops that I've started doing this year. I've had so much fun with those, and it's just really like just kind of a testament to like all of the different things that have inspired me like throughout my life. Music, a lot of most of these are in like based off of like lyrics from songs, because
Yeah.
music has always been a huge part of my life. I played violin and piano when I was a kid, and that was my hobby growing up. I wasn't really a super artsy craftsy kid, which is weird considering where I'm at now, but
Right.
it's been fun to be able to kind of just like let my inner child go and uh like use the music that I love to create like fiber art that I love. And yeah, I love chaotic trinkets and stuff too, so this is just like the best combo of everything. I'm also really proud of the oddities embroidery pieces that I've made. I haven't been working on them for the last few months just because my charm embroidery has been kind of my focus, but
Right.
I have a friend who processes roadkill and then they send me bones and then I use those in embroidery pieces. So I've had fun like making those types of things. It's very, very meditative and very fun for me to do. So yeah.
No, that's really cool. I've really enjoyed both the oddities ones that you were talking about, and then of course your more recent charm embroidery. Like both are fantastic. I've really enjoyed seeing them.
Yeah, it's really wild because I feel like there's kind of just like my business is kind of all over the place in what I make, in terms of like I have all different styles and kind of vibes going on, but it somehow all kind of comes together. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a multifaceted, like all over the place person, and so it kind of
So it
reflects.
works.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So kind of speaking of the charm embroidery, you designed our new logo. And I'd love to chat about that a little bit. What was the
Yes.
process like for you to design and embroider that?
So the way that I go about making the charm embroidery pieces is first I have to do like the center text, because otherwise I would have charms everywhere and wouldn't be able to do that. So
Right.
initially what I had to do is I used some water soluble stabilizer that washes away after like once you like put it underwater. And I traced the logo that you guys had sent me, and I stitched that on. The only problem with the water soluble stabilizer is that it is sticky as hell. I'm allowed to curse, right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to double check. But yeah, I had to I stitched through that and my needle was sticky, but we made it work and did the initial text. And I love the way that it like looks like machine stitching, not machine stitching, but like how a traditional like hand stitched garment would kind of look.
Yeah.
So I did that first, and then after I do the text, I gathered up all of my little charms and doodads, and I always like set the piece down and I put all the little pieces around and try to arrange it so that there's not too many things of like one color in one area or just all bunched up, just so it's more spaced out so that it can kind of look more coherent.
Hmm.
And then I stitch those down, I secure those, and then I start adding all of the funky, more kind of like neutral, like in terms of like not themed pieces, like and charms basically. So all the random
Yeah.
little beads and stars, hearts, flowers, whatever. And so yeah, once I just go around and I kind of go around and around in circles on the piece until everything is filled up. and then I stitch up the back, and yeah.
Amazing.
It's like it's a weird process, but it's pretty meditative and really fun. It's kind of like a puzzle, like trying to find what piece fits where the best, and
Yeah.
so
No, that's really cool, and we're super excited about how it turned out.
I am too. I was really happy with it. I was like, I was pretty nervous just because I wanted to make sure that it was something that was going to be, something that you guys wanted to use. And yeah, it was like, I had high expectations for myself because I wanted to be able to do a decent job for you guys. And I'm super excited that you guys love it and I love it. And yeah, it's been a super fun project. So,
Oh, I'm so glad. So, switching gears a little bit, I'm curious, you mentioned being, of course, inspired by music. What artists, whether musical artists or just other visual artists, inspire you?
um, at least for music artists, some of the ones that inspire me the most are like Chapel Roan. She's like the initial charm embroidery collection I made was it started with it started with a piece inspired by Good Luck Bade. And so that
Yeah.
was the first little tiny little trinket piece that I made, and then it just kind of like catapulted into whatever is going on now. But yeah, Chapel Roan has been a huge inspiration for me. I've been listening to her since like 2021. And so she's been super, I'm a super fan. But yeah, love Chapel Roan, love Remy Wolf. Kind of the same, just like chaotic, fun, campy. Also love Dochi. And then shifting gears, also like Noah Kahn, Hosier. I'm very into like more acoustic style. Love Lucy Dacus, Boy Genius. Yeah, my music taste is like everywhere, all over the place. But yeah,
An
as for
excellent
like
music taste.
visual, thank you. As for like visual art, I have a lot of like artist friends that I've like met over the internet throughout the years. Um,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna shout a few of those out really quick.
Okay.
M from Nature Nurture is based in the UK, and she makes these lovely folk inspired embroidery pieces that are super intricate, super detailed. So cool. I love her work so much.
I love her
And
work too. Yeah.
yeah, oh my God, she's incredible.
So amazing.
Yeah, and then my friend Bree from Breezy Creations, she is based in New York and does a lot of like fun, like frog, swamp, bog inspired like pieces. Very, very cute and fun and whimsical. Love her stuff. Another one is Neva from Ladies Things. They make like crochet, and then they do polymer clay jewelry, which is super fun and funky and cool. And then Zoe from Clay and Rain is based in California, I believe, and she makes polymer clay earrings, and she's also a native artist, and so she does incorporates like beadwork with her polymer clay jewelry, which is super cool. And then my friend Jamie Molden she's the one that I have the most art from, just hanging around my house. She does a lot of naked lady like art, and so I just have naked ladies all over my house from her. Love her,
Love
love her stuff. She's a tattoo artist based in Denver. So yeah, those are just some of my buddies from like art Twitter that I met back in like 2020, and yeah. So there's countless more, but those are just the ones like off the top of my head that I can,
Yeah.
think of. But
It sounds like such a cool community of people too, just kind of connecting online, and some of them are similar art, some different, but just all creatives of different varieties.
exactly. And it's just wild. It's such a bummer what's happened to Twitter. Like, no
Yeah.
thanks. Like, fuck Elon Musk. But yeah, it's been a bummer because been a lot of folks that are like kind of leaving Twitter or not being active on it anymore. And
Yeah.
like the community, like the art Twitter community back in like 2020 and 2021 was just like popping. And then once Elon Musk came in, it kind of like slowed things down a bit and it kind of took a turn. But it's still fun to be able to like see like my friends that I've made from that time and interact with them. And yeah, it's still, I'm so grateful for that community and everything that it brought me, because art Twitter is basically where my business like grew enough to where I was able to do it full time. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's really cool.
yeah.
So, Speaking of that, where can people find your work?
So I sell mainly online, at least for the charm embroidery pieces. They have been going fast online. And then I also sell like stickers, prints, apparel. I've slowed down on my like new shirts and stuff, but I will be releasing some secondhand stuff hopefully later this year. But yeah, I make hats, all sorts of random goodies. There's all sorts of shit on my website. It's just AstreaGoods.com. And then I also sell in person. So I do a lot of events. I'm based in Southeast Idaho. I'm based in Blackfoot, Idaho. So it's very small town. There's not a lot of markets in my area that are like for my target audience and where I feel comfortable trying to sell my art. But I do events through a metaphysical shop called Mystic Misfits here. I've been doing some events down in Utah in like Salt Lake City. So I've been doing like the Salt Lake City Punk Rock Flea. I did the Holiday Market last year, which was super fun. And then I also love to travel. So I've gone to California a few times and Portland, and I'm actually going to be going to Denver this year for Denver Pride. So I try to go all over the place. I figure I'm like I might as well get a vacation out of doing a market. So yeah.
No, that's a good way to do it. Are there any
Yeah.
like especially memorable places that you've gotten to sell and share your work?
One place that's like it's super random, but there's this event. It's called the St. John's Bazaar in Portland, and it's the biggest event that I had ever it's the first big market that I ever did. So I was married to my ex-husband at the time. We drove to Portland. I did the market, and it was super fun. I was pretty successful like for like at least the time. I was so psyched with how it went. And then I actually went back a couple years ago, back in 2023, and I did the same market. And it was just fun to see how far my business had grown within, the 5 years that I hadn't been there. And so, yeah, it was a super fun event. It's like a neighborhood, like market and festival. They've got like music and, like a parade and everything. Super fun. And then I did mention the Holiday Market last year was super fun. It's based in Salt Lake City, and it's just a bunch of queer artists, and it was super fun. It was also nice because it was in kind of the peak of like COVID flu season, and they made it masks required, which was, I think, really cool because it allowed a lot of like immunocompromised folks to come out and be part of the community for a time. And it was just a super cool event. There was just so much support and so much love. It was an incredible event. Yeah, those are kind of the first like few that I can think of. And then Wintry Market in Boise is one that I've done basically every year since like 2018. And it's been a super fun market as well for me. So
That's fantastic. So, is there anything new or exciting on the horizon for you and your business?
I'd say mainly I'm gonna keep pushing out these charm embroidery. I keep mentioning it, but it's like the main thing that I've been doing lately.
No, I get
So I'm
that.
like, but yeah, I'm doing that, and then I'm also gonna be, like I said, I'm doing an event in Denver this year, and I'm doing a lot more Pride markets this summer. So I'm gonna be busy. I'm doing 3 different Pride markets down in Utah, and then I'm doing Long Beach Pride and Denver Pride. I'm trying to think. I listed them all out so I can keep track. Hopefully Boise Pride in September. But yeah, and then I have a few random, little markets that'll be sprinkled here and there. But I'm really excited to do all these Pride markets. These are going to be some of the biggest events that I've ever done in terms of like Long Beach and Denver. I've never done an event of this size before, so I'm gonna be trying to prep. But if anybody's in the area, come say hi. I love to meet people who have like seen my work online. It just makes my heart happy. It makes me feel very fulfilled. But yeah, that's kind of what's been coming up. I also just want to say super super thank you again to letting me do your cover art. And if there's anybody out there that wants cover art for any music or whatever, I am down because these are so fun and I love doing commissions like these. So I'm just gonna put that out there. But yeah, that's
No,
kind of
that's
what I've got
awesome.
going on.
No,
So,
that's really exciting. And also, I would love to see your work as like cover art for like music and for other things because it would be so fun.
yeah, the dream, the most insane, crazy, batshit dream that I could possibly think of would be to have one of these be a cover, like a single cover for Chapel Roan or something like
Oh,
that. I
yes.
think that would be that. Obviously, that's like very far fetched, very, very batshit, but I think it would be so fun.
You're
And
speaking it into
um,
existence.
yes, exactly. I'm gonna manifest, put it out into the world. But
Yes.
yeah, honestly, any music that I like, I'd be honored to be able to create any kind of, cover art for it. I have fun even just making the little, pieces for individual use. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. We are really thrilled about the new logo and we're excited to see what you make in the coming year.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much for having me on and for supporting my business this way. It means the world and it's been super fun.